These are the latest creations from French designer Lea Peckre. The 30-year-old is one of the up-and-coming artists featured at this week's Paris Fashion Week. She learned her trade with Jean-Paul Gaultier and Isabelle Marant, but she decided to break out on her own.
I wanted to stand on my own 2 feet quickly. Maybe I could have worked longer for a fashion label, but I was too impatient to be independent.
This is the second time that Lea has been on the official calendar of the Pret-à-Porter shows in Paris. The city's Fashion Chamber of Commerce has specific criteria for participants.
We look for people who are different from others, whose fashion can be exported. That means it has to be creative enough to interest foreign purchasing agents and the foreign press. What's interesting is that in our little milieu, buyers, journalists, and fashion experts eventually reach a consensus about who is a new talent. And that's the case with Lea Peckre.
Lea went into business for herself 3 years ago and has developed a style all her own. A mixture of feminine and masculine components with a lot of attention to detail.
I like it masculine and I like it comfortable, and I'm increasingly developing this side. On the other hand, I like a certain feminine touch, a woman wearing high heels. I dream of being a woman like that too. And in my collection, dream and reality mix.
Her style derives from men's fashions. You can see her talent through the way she designs and cuts her suits. She makes men's fashion soft and feminine and creates a new form of womanliness. It's not sexy or vulgar. We need a new term for it. She reminds me of Jacquemus, who is also very young and, like her, brings a breath of fresh air to the fashion scene.
The 25-year-old Jacquemus is another name to follow. His show is a must-see, even if it's being held in a rundown old building. But that doesn't scare the fashion's elite or its top critics.
Jacquemus is someone people are talking about. More and more of his creations are showing up in fashion magazines. He's got his very own personal style that's causing quite a stir.
Jacquemus's background is far from the Paris fashion scene. He grew up in the country and studied fashion in Paris, but quit after only a month.
I'm the son of a farmer who had no contact with the fashion scene, and now I'm creating fashion. Maybe that's why I have such a rough approach.
His models come out barefoot, and his unstructured asymmetrical dresses bear lots of skin. Jacquemus makes fashion his way, ignoring all the familiar conventions.
This time I was influenced by childhood. I imagined a little boy or girl just having fun, picking out all kinds of things and sewing clothes out of them and putting on masks and makeup. This freedom and naivete that kids have fascinates me.
His unconventional approach may well be the key to his success. Recently, for the second time, the young designer was nominated for the Louis Vuitton Fashion Award.
He shows us creations that aren't really classical in the way we'd expect them to be. He's changing our perspective on fashion. These creative young talents are the designers of tomorrow who are making the fashion of tomorrow. They have the French know-how, along with a new energy and a certain dose of optimism.
That sentiment seems to be reflected by the audience at Lea Peckre's show. The industry insiders are also excited.
Here we're lucky to have access to the big companies and famous labels, but that's not enough. Keeping an eye on the up-and-coming talent is part of our job. Lea Peckre numbers among the outstanding new designers, and we're counting on her.
For now, the young designers are presenting their creations under their own names, but it might just be a matter of time before they're scooped up by the big fashion houses.